Good morning, everyone. I am just going to document my daily routine training at Codella Academy. I hope you guys enjoy it. Here I am at the academy parking lot. It's a big school. I can't get all of it in one shot. In this video, I'm showing you what a typical class is like at Codella Academy. Today I'm partnering with Shahan, and Mike's going to teach some takedowns as he always does, and then some ground. He always teaches some takedowns and some groundwork. So today we're going to be working on hitting the Darce off the failed Kimora from top position. Very interesting submission. So here we're working on Shahan's single leg. And I'm letting him know that he can't keep his head down there. Now, this is a hard concept to understand for beginners. We just charge in, and you think the guy's just going to tip over, and he is. But if he knows jiu-jitsu, he's going to wrap around your neck. So I'm trying to teach him the value of coming in with a straight, with your back aligned, not bent over, not with your head down. It's very easy to be smashed in that position, to be sprawled on. And after that, it's really not fun. It's all downhill from there. So here I'm showing how I do use my head, but not in a manner which is going to put me into a guillotine. So again, he did it again. Many times when you try to explain a concept to somebody, they're listening, and mentally they think they're doing what you're telling them, but they're not. So that's why knowing yourself and knowing how to control your mind is important to learning and growth.
That's even worse, right? So what do you want to do?
So here he has me in the single leg. Again, I'm demonstrating what not to do as opposed to what to do. You definitely want your top of your head pointed towards the ceiling. It's one smooth motion. See, here what I'm trying to teach him is proper head positioning. And then the push-pull principle. How do you get someone's leg with weight on it that you can take them down? See, he's just kind of token grabbing my arm and coming in. That wouldn't work.
So maybe the thought of coming up is going to keep you straight.
You got to really sell it. So I really pull on the arm, and then when he's pulling his weight back to get out of that arm drag, that's when I'm going to shoot. See, he's trying to do it without getting me to be pulling back. So I'm trying to show him in slow motion. So you want to get crouched first, then bring your knee to the mat. You don't want to do that from when you were standing straight up. You have to drop your level. And that took me a long time to really understand. So now we're going back and forth, just practicing. We always start every class with some takedown warm-up. We warm up with takedowns, but again, they're very light-hearted. No one's getting hip-tossed. It's just a good way of warming up. A jiu-jitsu-centric way. So now I'm showing him why 2-on-1 is a better grip, and how you could actually arm drag somebody into a rear naked choke. This would only work on somebody that's not trained, but that's probably who you'll end up fighting. See, this is the push-pull principle. He has to really sell it that he's trying to pull me, and then when I resist, that's when he shoots in. It's a hard concept to understand deeply. Again, showing him where not to put his head.
Oh, come on. Now we take the guys back. Now we're going to take them, you can take them down, several ways, but very easy. Since we're in this position, we're going to drive and walk them and take them down. So again, head, right? When you grab the head, you're going to lock. Make sure your head is pointed like in his face, right? You don't want to be like here. You want to be like right here. I reach, he steps, try, here, now I'm going to try. Just like that. So, one more time. So, grab, as I grab, I lock. I reach. Right under, here, I lock his hip, and take him down. Alright guys, let's try that one first.
It's interesting, as I'm editing this video, I'm thinking, my instructor learned everything from Renzo Gracie. It's like, personally. When there weren't a million people training jiu-jitsu. I think it was in the 90s. So here he showed a takedown, and I'm showing a counter. Anybody who watches the UFC has seen Nick Diaz counter the takedown with the Kimora grip, the same way that I just did. So, I know I made a video about takedowns, the value of takedowns, the danger. But training them this way, this isn't dangerous. So you could still practice them. It's just I don't like them doing on a fully resisting training partner that knows jiu-jitsu. I know that might sound silly, but I want to keep that to a minimal. So here I'm showing him, if he puts his hands in a different place, I won't be able to kimura him, and there's a takedown with that clinch. So you could see I'm not going to let him just grip his hands in front of me. That's Hussein, by the way.
He takes my back. Right, I feel the pressure here. I spread, and then I start to run. Drop. And I take. So, whatever side. So when you start running, secure the side that you're going to go to, right? So I come behind his arm, I keep running, I plant, and I go. Start right in.
So yeah, that open mat rash guard, you could get that and the shorts through the link in the description, X Marshall link, and if you use my code JITSOver50, you get 15% off. They got some really good gear.
So you gotta run, don't you? No. You gotta run first. Run. No. So look, I run. Then I grab. Yeah.
Right, I have to end up like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go too slow.
Hold it slow.
Yeah.
Right. No, you have to out.
Just like in a judo, if I do a judo throw, like the wrong way, it seems like a slap. Same thing here. So run, I'm gonna run. He did that one.
No, yeah, go downward.
Go down.
Go to your knee. Pull against this guy.
There, he was telling me to finish it, but I wanted to land in a position where I could submit him in my mind. So here I'm showing him how to stop someone from making that grip. As soon as I feel somebody behind me and they want to clasp their hands around my waist, my hands are already monitoring that area, and I'm doing like a rock, paper, scissors. I'm making sure their hands can't come together. Because once he gets his hands together, I got a big problem. But as you could see, I was still able to snatch the kimura. So basically, Mike showed counters to the counters. All tools you really wouldn't even need on somebody who didn't train at all.
I'm getting your arm. Right, you're coming around. I don't want that.
So here I'm using the kimura trap, and then I went to the arm bar. I just invented that on the spot.
I come in here, I come behind him and I come here, right? Or here. When I'm ready, I'm going to start giving him room to fall, right? So we ended up here. I take my inside, I take my far hand, catch his thigh here, and I pull him down. And we're going to end up here. Now I'm just going to put him right here. This is how we're going to end up. So from the back, let's say, I took him down already. We're here. I'm going to catch his leg. You can hold his elbow or his shoulder, whatever. But you have to remember, you can't take him down if you're on top of him, right? So you have to give him room. So I have to, when I'm ready, I got to start moving back. So if the guy's planted real hard, you could use this to, I use this hand to help him. Right now, I'm just going to lock him up here. So let's do the whole thing one time. Or from the underhook, I'm sorry, from the back take, right? I drive this in and I push forward here. I switch my base here. All right, guys, let's start out one time. So I'll just do it from here now. So we're going to bring the guy back. As he comes back, we're going to try to snatch his arm. All right? So we're in a kimura. So let's say he locks up from here. All right? So I'm just going to lock my chest on him so he doesn't disappear on me. All right? I'm going to bring this arm in, lift his head, and finish right here. So I'll do it a few times. So you're locked up here, right? And he locks up rather, and I can't get him. So I stay nice and tight on him here. This arm comes in under the head, tuck it in, shoot your arm here, and finish.
So this is a great move that Mike just showed. You're basically have someone who's very good at resisting the kimura, and then you just drop and take the Darce. As you can see, Shahan's making some fundamental errors here about how to finish the Darce. His left shoulder was like kind of up in the air and he was just squeezing. So here I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding what he just taught. So I asked Shahan to show me. And he understood it well. Again, I don't know if the finishing mechanics were there, but the setup off the failed kimura was well done. I'm still having trouble. Well, I got it now. Yeah, I haven't hit this yet because I don't think about it enough. As you can see, it works. So I always learn something new. Now, I don't know if, the new school jiu-jitsu, if this is part of it or if this is just considered something old school that we kind of forgot about. But for me, I don't think I've ever really seen this. And I could say that in many of my classes, because I've gone to a lot more sport, modern style schools, I think. And there's all this Renzo Gracie old school stuff out there that I'm privileged to now. See, again, Shahan doesn't have the finishing mechanics. But just knowing that entry is important. Because how many times have you had trouble finishing the kimura from there? Mike pulled over by the inside of the knee on that move. I used a different leverage point. But I'm sure either is functional. I'm showing him, you know, when you have this properly, it shouldn't take a lot of squeezing. And I pretty much think that with any choke. If you feel yourself really straining and squeezing, you're doing it wrong. You know, you probably just need a little angle adjustment or to suck out that last little bit of space, because a centimeter in jiu-jitsu is way too much space. And I'm not exaggerating. That's one of the black belts. He always has a riff about me when he walks by. So there, I'm starting to get the hang of it now. The way the bodies interconnect to be able to defeat each other is just unbelievable. It makes punching and kicking seem so primitive. So here, as you can see, I have double wrist control, playing very relaxed. This is our round now. So I make people start early if I can. So I made Shahan start, like, the round hasn't officially began. And that allows us to have a longer round. You know, to me, I want to have 8 minutes. And again, not because I have great cardio. I just really enjoy getting to know someone's jiu-jitsu. So there, I'm going to have to rewind that. This has been happening a lot. This is a sweep I hit. So basically, if your arm is there, I'm going to try to drag it. Right? So when I try to drag it, then I push forward. See? So and after I tried to drag it, I pushed forward and I have him on one hand. Now I did it again. So he's resisting the drag and then I push forward. So I had to do it twice there to get what I wanted. But definitely something to rewatch, and something I was going over today with some friends at Open Mat. Because it's something I do and I didn't even realize it. You know, because I've seen it now in quite a few videos. So there I was in the like a scarf, and he did a nice hip bump and got out, and I congratulated him. You know, I make Shahan look bad. But if you see him against a lot of other people, he impresses me. I like watching him. So as you can see, I'm very relaxed. 20 minutes into a class, a few minutes into a roll. I'm looking for that arm drag. So I'm looking for an arm drag on one side or the other. If I could control his arm on this side, I could butterfly sweep him to my left. So that's what I'm looking for. So there, he did a good job of clearing one of my hooks. See, when I had to bring my right leg across like that, that means I'm losing the guard battle. Because I had to re-guard. So once I re-guarded, I was able to get the tripod sweep. Because for a split second, he wasn't thinking about it. You know, some movements are so simple, but if you could just have a monitor to whenever he puts his foot in that position, you just hit it. You could sharpen that tool and it becomes an amazing thing. So here I'm doing a lot of more leaning my weight forward on the guard pass, kind of floating on his legs, keeping weight on him, because you don't want people just standing up. And that's what people are going to do, whether on the street or in a tournament, for the most part, unless they're a guard player. So here I'm sitting on one foot. That's a strong position for me, believe it or not, even though it doesn't look like a big deal. Here we're resetting. Here I'm showing him he's got to pull me forward with his legs to get behind my arm. That's when the magic happens. Here I'm just doing like a wrist control game, and I'm trying to do it without looking. See, sometimes I block his grip with my elbow. Now, if he was smart, he'd pull me forward with his legs and drag that elbow across. Easier said than done, but it's something to shoot for. So this ends the round. We're not a very formal school. I do a few other rounds, but I just wanted to show a little bit of about what class was like, and Shahan was my partner. So if you find value in my content and you want to help support the channel, I have an X-Marshal link in the description. Anything you buy off there is 15% off with code JITSOver50. I have that open guard, rash guard on there, and the shorts. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you.